whenever this thing goes. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
You didn't do the video. You didn't do the
We're right
video.
here, we're
You gotta
live.
do the video first and then hit
Shut
live.
up. Shh, shh, shh. Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. Everything's going according to plan.
We're all fine here. How are you?
Yep. Yeah, boring conversation anyway. We are doing a roundtable here for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm here joined by Rhett and Jacob Roth, and eventually we'll be joined by Michael Nip, Mikey High Nip, as of course my dad loves to say whenever I bring up Michael Nip. How are you doing today, gentlemen? How are you doing, Rhett?
Hey, I'm good. It's toward the end of the week. Things are winding down. I'm going to take it easy tomorrow at work. Really phone it in.
That's how I feel right now. If we're phoning this in, so
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we phone this in too. Yeah. No, I'm winding down. So now, good week.
How are you doing, Roth? How's life been since you've seen this movie?
Good. I've seen it twice now. I saw it opening night. I skipped work early, went and saw it at 3:45, and then I saw it again last night. Saw it in our big Dolby Atmos curved widescreen, the first showing, and then in our 4K projector Dolby Atmos screen last night. So
nice.
I saw it 3 times. 3 times. I saw it Thursday night 6:30, Friday night 6:30, and Saturday night 6:30.
Just the 6:30 opening
yeah,
night?
Well, the other one was 10 p.m. and the other ones were earlier, and I was only planning to go Thursday and Friday, but then my parents went Saturday, so I went, I'll join you guys, and we saw it together, and I really enjoyed this film. We'll get into discussion here in just a second. I want to say hello to the chat. Hi Mikey in the chat. Hi Craig. Hi Ted. Hi Matt. Hi Brian. I think that's mostly everyone.
That's
here.
That's an all-star team in the chat.
Yeah, it's a lot of people in the chat. Honestly, for a Thursday night. Where is Earl?
Yeah, Earl.
There's Earl. He's been here the whole time.
I've been backstage for like 2 minutes.
You forgot to add him.
You left him out in the cold. He had to put a blanket on.
All right.
This is my Craven the Hunter, Lions mane. No. I'm here for virtual hugs for you guys.
Good heavens.
Let's get started on the Volume 3 talk, guys. I want to ask first.
What's the music? Wow, I like that.
A guitar.
Is this a soundtrack?
It's a song, certainly, from maybe the beginning of the film. I'm not going to let it play all the way through. I'm not going to get a copyright strike.
No,
you got like 7 seconds.
Let's act out the whole movie.
Checking this thing.
What were your guys' expectations going in this film? I mean, the MCU for a lot of people has kind of been on a downturn. I want to start with Earl. How did you feel walking into this film?
Well, I mean, James Gunn has a reputation of being excellent in his storytelling, caring about the characters. He's I had just seen Peacemaker about a month before. For some reason I missed the whole thing. So I really was kind of like, wow, he does really good at like ensemble casts, making sure everybody has story arcs. And so I had high expectations, I guess. I'll end there.
A Peacemaker, by the way, I think a brilliant show.
Yes.
I think the finale's not as good as the rest of the show, but it's still really good. I don't think James Gunn has made a bad superhero film or show so far, in my opinion. Rhett could contest that. I'm fine with that.
I think that's probably accurate.
Rhett, how did you feel walking into this film?
Well, I went in with somewhat measured expectations because I feel like the MCU is, it feels like it's gone off a cliff only because it was a pretty high standard prior to that. I mean, when you talk about the fall off from in the end game, it has been pretty stark. No pun intended. I went in with measured expectations, but I have enjoyed the Guardians Galaxy movies. I understand their place in the broader MCU as kind of that not totally standalone, although this one was pretty standalone.
Yeah.
It's a different feel and tone from the rest of it. I think maybe the MCU has gone this. Tonally, they've tried to mimic a bit too much of the Guardians, and maybe I know Thor
That's true.
Ragnarok did it, but they don't have the people writing those don't have the same the same quippy abilities that James Gunn has. So I don't think they pull it off as well. But no, I was okay with it. I have some problems with it. I don't think it is the end all be all. It's probably the better of the. I really like the first Guardians, but this one's better than the second one. But yeah, no, I measured expectations and they were met. I was satisfied by it, but with some caveats.
To add to your discussion, I don't even think it's. I mean, it is a little bit of the quippiness. A lot of them aren't as good at joke writers. They're not as funny, and they don't understand when to place jokes. But also, they don't seem to understand the heart of the Guardians films. That's
correct.
Huge
I want to get into that a little bit more later, but yeah, the jokes have heart to them, and kind of the payoffs, and even the action scenes have more. There's more heart to them. I mean, there are more character moments in some of the action scenes than we get out of the rest of the MCU. Now, I don't think the jokes always land.
No, but it's
in two. In two, that Taserface joke didn't land, and man, they really wrote it hard too.
No.
And
he can be kind of childish sometimes. I mean,
even the bad dog stuff was so predictable, and like you knew how that was going to end. In this one, I thought was a little. He kind of gets one of those each movie that he rides a little too far. But that's a minor thing.
I think the question was just expectation.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
We haven't.
I liked that. I have no idea where I'm going from here, Earl. I just realized I was having to moderate this thing.
Brett's already reviewing it, but I was.
Where's
my Michael?
I don't know where Mikey is.
What's going on?
Well, his child's got a choir performance, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Roth, what were your expectations?
Choir performance.
Okay. I was kind of echoing what these guys are saying, where we definitely went through some bad movies there over the last 10, as you guys kind of discussed on the last episode of the Deucecast. But my expectations were this movie is probably going to be pretty good. And then the day of, James Gunn tweeted out at 10:15 my time. It was May the 4th, which is fake Star Wars Day for many people.
Yeah,
non-orthodox.
Yep. This was pretty much, he wanted to make a movie that felt like Star Wars, and that's what he felt like he did. And so that was in the back of my mind the whole time, and that kind of got my excitement up because, as I think all of us here, I'm a big Star Wars guy. Is Michael drinking? Because that certainly can't be true.
Well, we don't know that he's watching us. There may be something else he's looking at.
That is quite the choir show.
He's watching a Schmodown right now.
Schmodown with Harloff and.
But yeah. So the whole like Star Wars vibe thing, and it was in the back of my mind the whole time, and I really, really got that, especially with some of those scenes near the last like kind of half quarter of the movie or so. Felt very Star Wars-y. Not like it was a remake of Star Wars or anything like that, but it just had that certain feel where you're like, this is a super fun movie and there's a lot of heart here.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, the MCU, I mean, yeah, things have taken a dip in quality for sure. And look, there are things upcoming that I'm not super excited about. There are things that are upcoming I am kind of excited about still, even with some of the dip in quality. But this one, yeah, I mean, it's James Gunn. For me, he has not missed on the superhero film. I enjoy Guardians 1.
Right.
I enjoy Guardians 2. I enjoyed the holiday special.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Peacemaker, even with the finale, which I think is a little weak. And I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. A lot more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm. Better than the first one.
It was much better.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people say that's like their favorite superhero movie like ever. I'm like, you guys are
the Suicide
crazy.
Squad?
Yeah. Yes, and like they
the
give
second
it, like,
one or the first one?
The second one, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. They're like, this is one of the best like superhero movies I've ever seen. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was good.
I mean, it's fine. It's fun, but it's not.
Fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it got way too much praise. I think that can kind of happen with some James Gunn stuff, and
yeah, I think his reputation precedes him, and I think he probably gets more credit maybe than his due. You think he's remarked upon as being better maybe than he is, but not substantially so. I mean, he's not a bad filmmaker, and he makes fun, interesting things. But kind of like everybody's expectations really go through the roof, and they talk about how he does. I mean, Rifen just said it. He doesn't miss and all this, and I've probably given him more credit than he deserves, but he's not bad. I mean, it's all pretty good. I don't really know much of his stuff prior to Guardians and his superhero stuff.
There's that super movie that I liked, and then I think he did horror before that, right?
Yeah, he did Slither, but he wrote Army of the Dead, which is directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
And he wrote the Scooby-Doo films as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I don't think I realized that. Okay.
If you haven't seen the clip, watch Sarah Michelle Gellar talking about being in Scooby-Doo, and then watch Freddie Prinze Jr. talk about being in Scooby-Doo. It's the funniest thing you'll see.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's talking about like how great of a interesting story this is, and Freddie Prinze Jr.'s like, I don't know, man, getting to walk around with Scooby-Doo, it's just freaking awesome. And he's just the most bro-ish 17-year-old dude. You would think that he's like in junior high or high school. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Gunn. You're right. Gunn does sometimes go too far with some of his jokes. I agree with that point. And I do. Yeah, there's certain scenes like the first time he says "bad dog." I feel like it should have been done, and yet the dog keeps going on, and I'm like, okay, all right,
Yeah, and those characters didn't have much else to do. Like that, they cut to them almost needlessly a couple of times. Just almost seemed like just for that joke. And I know there was
it's to keep reminding it for the payoff, but yeah.
Maybe if the only other time we got it was in that poker scene, I think it could have worked a little bit better where you do still get reminded of it, but you don't have to just cut back to
Yeah. He started off at Trauma.
And I think he gets, I think this is the first one where he was the sole writer credited. I think the other two had some others on there with him.
I think he solely wrote Volume 2.
Okay. I don't
look that up.
We'll check it up while you're.
Yeah, it's not worth it to me to go look, but he felt a little too unrestrained. I mean, I thought the whole sequence with the flesh planet was too much. I thought from a set design standpoint, and just the silliness factor, I thought was a little too much, or not set design, but like production design. I thought it was a little too silly. It took me out of it a little bit. I always try to when I'm watching these movies, all of the MCU, I try to imagine.
Abnett wrote it too.
Can you take Tony Stark and Captain America and put them here, and it still feel like the same universe? And some of that stuff takes me away from that, and that may not be a fair standard, but I like the way the MCU started, where it was a little grounded, and then it got a little more bizarro and cosmic. But I didn't feel out of place with Cap and Rocket interacting in Endgame, right? That wasn't. I mean, you kind of got it. That was a pretty good payoff. I couldn't have imagined them on this goofy flesh planet with Nathan Fillion in his Lady Gaga suit, cracking jokes and some of that stuff. That was all a little bit too weird for me. But that's okay. I mean, I didn't.
Well, I think Gunn's strength is he can really get you invested in the emotional connections of the characters. I don't know. That's his talent, I think, is that you really care about the characters.
Yep.
Even if they're doing silly, crazy stuff that sometimes you're going, because when you think back on it, I just saw one guy talking about, he goes, man, Chris, here's Star-Lord, Chris Pratt giving it all, crying, giving resuscitation. And he goes, wait a minute, there's a guy giving resuscitation to a raccoon with a tree standing over his corner. He's like, wait a minute.
And I moved by it. Like it's one of the best scenes in the movie, right?
I mean, Michael's so moved he can't even be on the podcast. He's still crying. He's still crying right now.
And to get to that point, Guardians of the Galaxy, when it was first announced, I think right after Avengers, that they were doing Guardians of the Galaxy, people went, "Wow, Marvel is high on their own supply right now." The movie with a talking raccoon,
that's going to fail.
A movie with a talking raccoon and a talking tree, it's not going to work. And Chris Pratt's not
a
an
blue
action
chick
star.
and a green chick. Yeah.
But that first trailer put them right. Like set the tone perfectly, and everybody was like, "Hey, I think this works." I mean, we're kind of. We like this, and it paid off.
It is very telling they put the release date in August, because that's a move that a studio does when they
When
don't
you're a little
fully
worried
believe
about
in
it.
a film.
They're a little worried. They're not saying it's gonna.
Yeah, but
It was a gamble. It was a gamble.
Yep, and it's paid off to a trilogy.
you know, you talk about putting the heart in the characters. I think Gunn abused that a little bit. I think he was cowardly in that he gave us several. He gets several instances where we thought a character was going to die.
Bye bye, Mickey.
Things looked pretty bad. Drax took a shot to the back, to the back or the chest
And the front.
and the back, the music was and the character reactions were such that you expected that to be kind of the a little more final for him, and he absolutely walked it off like it was nothing. And it's Star-Lord at the end, Rocket even, which you kind of knew that they were going to find a way, but I think he cheated a little bit and gave us these emotional moments without ultimately paying it off. And we hold J.J. Abrams accountable when he does something like fake killing Chewbacca, right? And then in the very next scene, he's back.
You're saying
so
it's manipulative.
I think you have to hold Gunn to account a little bit on that respect as well. Didn't ruin the movie, but it was a little cowardly. I thought that's overstating it, but
coward. Wow.
Yeah, I'm overstating it just for the sake of hyperbole. But I think he had a couple of opportunities to really do something permanent, and he didn't. Ultimately, nothing permanent happened in this movie.
I think you had several moments like Drax being shot.
Gamora was shot too, right? Or something happened to her.
Yeah, Nebula got beat up a couple of times.
Yeah,
Nebula got shot from behind as well.
Yeah.
Rocket
she took a beating.
in heaven, basically, which was kind of an
animal.
He basically died, right? He
All raccoons go to heaven,
or whatever.
All raccoons go to heaven.
Lila was there, and Teef and whatever her name is,
Teef's
Floor,
Ruth, and Floor.
Yep.
Poor Floor.
Rough.
Oh my goodness.
I thought that was more, and I get it. You're saying cowardly. I don't know. I just feel like he was saying they could die. This is it's a very real possibility.
He was playing a little bit. He was manipulating.
There are stakes here, and this villain is very strong. Yeah. But ultimately it was a very happy ending.
I mean, I definitely was not. I guess maybe I'm a comic purist with Adam Warlock, so I didn't like how they made him that much. That was probably my one beef with the whole movie. But whatever, it's not a huge deal.
Here's the thing about Adam in the comics, though. Adam is a very stoic character.
No, well, that's fine.
And
okay.
I kind of like the idea of an evolution into that stoic character, instead of just coming out stoic. Because I mean, there was a very powerful character that came into the MCU very stoic, and no one really liked that performance at first. So I don't know.
What are you talking about?
You talking about
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I didn't know.
I was like, Thanos, I guess he was pretty stoic. I'll do it myself.
Kang? I don't know.
I didn't like the Warlock portrayal, and I don't have any great attachment to the comics. I don't read things for kids. So I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I had no real expectations on Warlock. I didn't love that portrayal though. I think Poulter did fine, but just the character itself, making him almost like childlike. You didn't get that in the first scene. You got it a little later. Like he came out early. He came out of his pod early. I think they alluded to, or whatever. And I didn't love that. He felt a little tacked on. I know he kind of started the action. And started the scenario by injuring Rocket in that opening scene.
And that was the start of the whole. I mean, that was the plot, right?
It was, but then he had nothing to do after that.
Well, Gunn admitted in press junkets that that was the hardest character to work into the story because he had promised him at the end of Volume 2, and he was like,
"That's exactly it.
It's just not working that well."
I was going to say that he had to do it because it was he promised it, but he didn't feel like he belonged. He felt tacked on and just like, where can we put this guy when he did not really have a place in the story?
So we saw Dungeons and Dragons, right? Remember, this isn't really a spoiler.
I'll plug my ear.
I don't care.
But the Regé-Jean Page character was kind of he was kind of this high-minded paladin that was kind of almost kind of
paladin,
like a paladin, whatever. I don't know.
What are we talking about? Rings of Power.
So what I'm saying is that he was kind of this sort of stuffed shirt guy that was kind of a prig, but he was kind of funny because he kept playing off Chris Pratt.
What was he?
Is that his name, Goldar? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I think if they had
heard a
played,
couple of words.
I'm trying to make a parallel here.
Is
between
Prig a word?
The
Yes,
Dungeons
Prig
and
is a-
Dragons.
Okay.
All right, just never mind. Keep going.
All right.
No,
go.
I'm saying if they had made Adam Warlock like this sort of stuffed, like sort of clueless guy that's like thinks he's so high-minded, but and not like Drax, not dumb, not like Drax where he's but kind of a guy like where he's playing against Chris Pratt as like, I don't know, this clueless kind of otherworldly guy that's not making connections or something. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'll write James Gunn and tell him what he should have done.
Okay. Maybe he'll work it into his DC
as somebody
universe.
who's never read a Marvel comic, it didn't really bother me. I think maybe he was in it a little bit too much. Like maybe he could have just showed up like at the end and like cut his other appearances when he's on like the alternate Earth or whatever they called it.
Just straight Deus Ex Machina at the end, just show up and save the day, and then
no, not show up and save the day. Like try to fight them again.
Oh, okay,
something like that, where like he's not just like constantly like just behind him, but like he comes back and like maybe he's like the last obstacle or something like that. Where because it did feel like it didn't really make a whole lot of sense for him to be there in a lot of that stuff.
Well, he was a character, right? Like he started off bad, and then he was good by the end. I guess they had to get him to a place of being good, but they really rushed it.
Yeah, he was like a tertiary villain. I mean, he was below High Evolutionary, and he's below Aisha, his mother.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, I'm always up for Elizabeth Debicki.
Yes, I'm sad she's dead now.
I know. I want her in all the movies.
I will tell you. Yes, it's Gunn's sense of humor a little bit, but
the ship blew up.
I actually laughed when
she may have escaped in a pod. We don't know.
No, she blew up right in front of our faces.
She did.
I laughed when the High Evolutionary pulled up a stool when he.
Oh yeah! Oh great! A little step stool.
She is 6'3", of course.
Yes.
Yeah, great joke.
She's very tall.
Yeah, that kind of stuff lands. Like, I mean, that one I really did like a lot.
And you get the ego of the High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
And,
Can we talk about that character
right there?
And that was a great villain.
We don't always need these villains like Killmonger and like Thanos. Sometimes these like just evil, like one movie and you're done, like totally works.
We need a 6-story villain that'll go over the whole course of the. No.
He was better in the flashbacks, I think, as a villain than in the present day stuff.
He became a bit crazed.
He was a bit screechy at the end.
After Rocket's attack.
That's exactly it. He was a little screechy. Yeah.
After Rocket's attack, he got really bad. Yeah.
And I'm stealing this from Pitch Meeting, but he made the point in the one he released today. He said, how can we make this villain instantly hated by everyone? Oh, a little bit of animal. Let's just start with some animal cruelty, and, done. Now we hate this guy.
Yeah,
now, that actor's really good. Like he's
Chuck Woody Awuji.
Chuck Woody Awuji.
Chuck Woody Awuji.
That's not his real name. That's not
how much.
Yes, it is his real name. And he's in Peacemaker as Myrn.
It's Chuck Woody. WUDI. That's his whole name.
No, I think it's pronounced Chuck Woody Awuji.
Chuck
but you're saying super fast. Those are two names there, and Chuck WUDY is his full first name.
Chuck Woody.
You're just saying it super fast.
Yeah,
there's no space.
That's how
much
would
a woodchuck?
How much? Yeah.
If a woodchuck could chuck wood, I don't know.
Chuck Woody.
And my favorite organization came out and said this is the best animal rights movie they've ever seen in their entire life. And so I really thank James Gunn for making that.
Well, PETA's killed maybe more than the High Evolutionary has at this point.
Oh, yeah. They are constantly killing animals, and that you can quote me on that.
Wow.
Yes.
They put down a lot of dogs in their days.
Oh, yeah.
Those dogs' days are over, for sure.
Wow.
Holy smoke. Chuck Woolery emoji.
Woolery emoji. I like
the name we're going with from
Chuck Woolery. Very good, Craig. Very good.
I think he's a stage actor from Britain, and you can kind of see that in his performance.
Oh, yeah.
But stage actors bring to the screen sometimes is a little bit of overacting. because you've got to do that on the stage versus the screen.
Yep.
And I feel like you got some of that in this film, but I really loved his performance.
A little
I think it
unhinged
suited-
by the end.
Overacting suited that character. I mean, he needs to chew a little scenery.
Yes.
That's kind of that suited.
And he's
the
even like
character.
crawling on the ground next to Rocket at one point.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you notice that in those scenes?
Yeah, no, he went for it. It was.
Yeah.
I really.
I mean, the dude's unhinged. He had his face ripped off. Come on.
I liked it. I liked.
Which was a little gruesome. I was like, man, okay.
When they
Rocket-
showed it, that was
Yeah,
disgusting.
I did not.
And-
I did not expect
They
us to
lingered.
go there. With the
Both
people
times
in
it got
the
got a good laugh out of me when Drax was like, his face came off. Like, no, it's a mask. It got me both times very, very well.
Yeah.
I agree with Craig. I mean, it was a little tense, like if you had young kids there, it's like, wow.
It's kind of like Harvey Dent, but his entire face.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, he looked pretty rough. I was
Yeah.
surprised that we got that. Really
Needed a little dental work or something.
and the other
Plastic surgery.
well, I mean, let's go ahead and address the.
Are we all allowed one tonight?
Yeah, I was gonna say they drop an F-bomb.
Yes.
It was just random and unnecessary, which almost made it okay to me.
Mhm.
I
agree
think
with
it absolutely probably should not have been included. Ultimately it's a Disney property. You expect these to be family movies. We would have been fine without it. But the way they used it was just so throwaway and like just so natural. I would just say this now. You say it,
Open the effing door.
yeah, just
that is
open the door, and it was fine.
My biggest critique about the F-bomb being used in PG-13 films is oftentimes it never feels natural. It feels like the screenwriter's like, I'm
They
They just
saying
said,
the
we
F
got to get
word.
it in. We got to work it in.
Look, I liked the one in Top Gun Maverick. I thought that one was well placed.
I don't even remember it. So
I
that's
don't
really
remember
that's-
either.
that Su-35 does one of these maneuvers and they fly by and Rooster says, "What the F was that?"
Oh,
That's a great moment. And here, it was just it wasn't forced, and they're all in some way they're all forced because they're ultimately unnecessary, but it did not feel that bad.
This is true, by the
Yeah,
way.
I think
That
that's
was an
probably
improvised-
true.
I think it was.
no,
I
I
think it was an
assume that
ad
was
lib,
the
right?
take that they clipped.
I watched a 15 million press junkets for this thing. That was ad libbed, and it apparently they've ad libbed like a bunch of F bombs over the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that stuck in test screenings.
I was gonna say it wasn't all Pratt. Somebody had to leave it in there.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
yeah,
it was,
sure.
I mean, they do, however many passes
Yeah.
they do. I mean, how many takes he did it. He did it on at least one, right?
Yeah.
Does
But
he
you
have
look
a
at the
writer's
blooper- You
guild?
look at the blooper reels from Parks and Rec, and
Mhm.
he is bringing it from an ad lib standpoint.
Oh,
every
yeah.
single time.
Yeah,
And some
a
of
lot
those
of Kardashians,
jokes made it in. A couple of his ad libs made it into the show too. There.
I love the Kim Kardashian comeback
Good
story.
grief. Yeah, comeback, great comeback story. Yeah, Seabiscuit.
She got
yeah. Like, what? Look, the one where Leslie Knope was sick, and he looks it up on the computer and says, "You have." He Googles what her symptoms are, and he says, "You have internet connectivity issues." Like, that's a solid joke. He just said that, they were, and that's a good one. But yeah, he's. I didn't hate it. It was
Hitting
probably
the trash can was funny as well. I laughed both times
What?
at that. The whole
Which
theater
one?
does.
Which
When
one?
he hit the trash can driving away with the car.
Yes,
And
yes.
he's
He didn't
like,
know how to
I
drive
left
it.
Earth when I was 8.
I mean-
What do you expect from me?
Yeah,
I'm
he's like,
guessing that
"Rrr,
was
rrr."
a stick shift car too, which
Yeah,
is why
yeah,
it was
'cause
so
he's like,
murdered.
It looked like I don't think it was, but
It didn't look like
yeah.
it, but that's how he
They
was
drove
driving
it.
it.
They
Yeah,
drove
that's
it
what
like
I'm saying. The
He
way
was
it
either
drove,
driving it like a stick or he had both feet on the pedals.
Yeah, he was using two.
Yeah.
Well, you always try to you hit the brake with that left foot, man. You come to a stop,
He's-
don't you?
Yeah, he's trying to.
As somebody who has rolled and destroyed his right ankle many times, driving with the left foot isn't the easiest thing in the world.
No,
I've
it's
gotten pretty
not.
good at it.
yeah, he was.
The bit about him, he knows a lot of Earth stuff to have left when he was 8. I've got a daughter who will be 8 in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and she doesn't know who Jackson Pollock is. Like, he made a Jackson Pollock joke
First
in
movie.
Marty 1, right?
That's very similar to the Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, well, that's a great joke, but but from an 8-year-old, like he should have an
He wouldn't know.
8-year-old's understanding of Earth, and it's almost like Shazam, where they get that balance wrong, between
Did
the
you know
kid and
Jackson
the-
Pollock was born in Wyoming?
Oh, I did not know.
Cody,
we did
Wyoming.
not know that.
Yep.
We did not know that.
Did a little bit of trivia there.
Mm-hmm.
I do think we should hit on because someone talked about Drax earlier. Drax is an interesting character in this film because first off, Dave Bautista has very publicly said that he's never going to play the character again, which I think ultimately money does talk. If you really want him back, they could get him back, but I don't know that they want him that bad. What?
What?
They don't need him.
An 8-year-old?
He meant Rhett.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't
Craig
mean that.
is breaking news to Dr.
I
Earl.
thought Craig was telling me about some situation.
I didn't mean to have an 8-year-old. That was an accident. I'm too old for that.
Earl
He's
just did
never
some
quick.
quick calendar. Where was I 8 years ago?
Yeah, my 8-year-old's never going to see her daddy run. Like she'll never know that I could do it. Right? Like we're way past that.
we get a lot of Drax's stupid moments in this film, and that one with Mantis basically arguing in defense of him and calling him an idiot. But afterwards, I thought it was interesting because after that scene, they almost have him display some intelligence.
He does. I think they brought it back a little bit.
Knowing of the language and knowing how to be a dad, and there was a lot more that he brought to the team than they were arguing in favor of.
And I wish they had done him more like that the whole time. I did not think at the beginning that Drax was supposed to be a stupid character.
Right.
I thought he had a misunderstanding of the language, right? He didn't get metaphor and some of that.
Yeah, he just didn't. It's not his culture.
I thought he was supposed to be like a literal character where like he takes every single thing literal and like he has
which is a language barrier thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then in the second movie, they made him just like an idiot.
Like an idiot.
And I think they brought him back
ever since. It's okay to culture shock and fish out of water stuff. That's so but they overdid it and made him kind of dumb. So I was glad to see him get a bit of a payoff there, where we had a really great character moment with the kids and I really
like that a lot.
His monkey sounds, which is just the robot.
But I wish they had done him better. I get where Bautista is. And Bautista's not a bad actor. I've seen
he's gotten a lot better over this trilogy too.
He has, But and look, he had that small role in Blade Runner 2049. I thought
it was great.
Just a real subtle portrayal of in that spot. And he didn't have anything to do in Dune. Maybe he'll have more to do in the sequel, I guess. But
I don't think he had a single line in the James Bond movie he was in.
Oh, right? Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. So
he's in a Bond movie.
Yeah. Which one is I like 98% sure he is.
Okay, I believe you.
Well, Craig. Craig in the chat here just said that Drax ended up with the best arc out of the movies besides Rocket.
I think Quill does.
I think it's Quill. But he had developed.
He has the most developed
movies, and through Endgame, he had no development in this one.
No,
he was kind of a static character. And
that's his one development in this film was moving on from Gamora.
Yeah. And I'm glad they did that too.
And you know what? Sorry to interrupt you, but you know what? The other development was actually going home back to Earth and visiting his grandfather, which he should have done during Endgame.
Yeah, right. Well, to be fair, Endgame was a bit of a blurry. There was a lot going on.
Yes,
he was mourning Gamora.
But before they left the planet, I don't know.
Should have brought it. You should have mentioned it. Yeah, I wonder how he turned out. Yeah, but he didn't have much from a character standpoint, and Nebula really didn't to me either. I thought she was pretty much, she's ended where she started as far as I think that character growth happened elsewhere.
Well, but she's the mayor of nowhere, right?
Yeah, that's not character development. Just
that's job growth.
Here's the thing. I mean, Nebula's growth from 1 to 2 was massive.
Yeah,
then she has a jump from 2 to Endgame, and then in Endgame. She's had that jump now from Infinity War and Endgame. In Endgame, she then has to face her older self.
Right.
And shoots her older self. It kills her older self because she has to.
Yeah, she was what she was. I'm just saying that she did not have there was no arc.
I think like that's majority where her arc kind of ends.
It is correct. Yeah. And that was my point, that she didn't have, there wasn't much growth for her to be had here. Mantis, I don't think really developed a whole lot.
Well,
In
I
this
thought
one. I don't think she developed a whole lot at all in any of her.
she's more of the comedic sort of one of the.
She is. There's a lot of that.
One of the running jokes that I did not like was it was just stupid how she just kept falling on her head. I was like, why is this?
I kind of enjoyed that.
I like that. I like how she'd be
I-
bouncing and just like.
I noticed it at first. I was like, "Oh my god, her neck!" And then the second time it happened, I was like,
And, like maybe I noticed it like especially because like my neck kind of hurts. So I'm like, oh my god, either that would feel really good or just awful.
Yeah, I think it was only twice, right?
Look, it was twice, and
It was twice, and then just not being able to fall out of a spaceship the first time.
The thing is, that's kind of a part of Gunn's sense of humor that we talked about earlier. And the thing with Gunn's sense of humor to me is I'm not always in the mood for it, but when I am, I just go with the flow, and I kind of just like, this is not always my thing, but I kind of respect it, and maybe there's a little chuckle that it gets out of me at certain points. And that's one of those moments.
I think Mantis has grown though. Like the second movie, she was just kind of Ego's
servant,
and then of course she had some roles in Infinity War, I think, with Thanos trying to get him to go to sleep. If y'all remember, sleep, and he's like,
that's the one moment she had. But
yeah, and then I think her character really came into sort of more development in the
holiday
Christmas
special.
Yeah, the holiday special.
Yeah.
And I liked her portrayal here. I mean, I thought she was kind of fun, and she's kind of Drax's little, they're kind of the comedic buddy, kind of C-3PO and R2-D2 off to the side of the main story with Rocket and
and I don't mind her character. I'm just saying that she did not have, from a growth standpoint. I mean, she didn't really have any.
It was a little unclear why she's just like, I'm going to go off and find myself. And
she's also one that I've never really cared about. Like I don't dislike her, but I don't really like her either. I just don't really care.
Well, my opinion of her has improved over the. This was her best, I thought.
She's not an OG character. She was introduced in Volume 2, and she's had some development, but no, she's probably the weakest developed character of the bunch.
Yeah. I'm with Matt Mink. I really like Mantis.
I enjoy Palm Clementieff, though.
Yes,
I think she does a bang up job. Brian, you just posted Brian's comment that Nebula seemed OP.
That's true. Iron Man now.
Yeah, she really
did.
She's
got this arm that turns into all these different.
It can pilot a ship. It can be a sword. It can be a gun.
Just the beatings that she took and then just popped back into place.
Like
that's over.
In the hallway fight, I kind of liked it. Yeah. Again, it's kind of James Gunn's sense of humor.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes, we'll get to the hallway fight for sure.
Oh, sorry. Well, wait a minute.
Well, you know what? Why don't we just talk about it? The hallway fight scene is a thing to talk about on its own. Yeah.
That was one of the best action sequences in the MCU. I like that. Anytime you shoot something like it's one take, I know it's not intellectually. I know that it's not one take, but all that stuff works for me. Loki did it. There's a great long take on Shang-Chi on the scaffolding that I love. All those long takes, man, give them to me. And this was I guess they started that tracking shot in Avengers, right? Where they follow the whole crew through New York in that one tracking shot that ends with Thor and Hulk punching Thor. I guess is that the scene. But that action scene was just top notch. I mean, I don't know what you say about it. It was just a bunch of little Beastie Boys in there.
Oh man, the music choice.
For my oldest daughter, I'm like, I have that album, on vinyl.
It was funny that all of us guys were like, and your daughter was just like. What's wrong with y'all?
It at all.
No.
Yeah, that was a great scene. I mean, everybody got their little moments in there. There's some really good choreography. What I like is that it was all in character. The things that they were doing were really, they were not just generic moves. It was not a generic move set. They all had their specials, and I thought they were doing it. So
I thought some surprising violence in there too.
Oh yeah.
It was a little pushing the edge.
Even before that, when Warlock rips off the pig's head.
Yeah, a little hard.
That was like, glad that's a pig.
Yeah.
Well, we don't care about the disfigured animal.
Right.
Yeah. That's a mercy kill. Those poor animals. Thank God.
There was a little. You could tell Gunn still has that sort of Suicide Squad. Well, he does. He always has that sort of a little bit violent for MCU, and now he's in DC. Which anyway, we can go into that further, but.
And that's kind of maybe some of that goes back to trauma, right? Where he,
I think there's something
hyper violence and kind of real stylized stuff. I think that goes back to that, right?
Yeah, he's got this gross out sense of humor.
Yeah,
that doesn't always work for me, but I can understand why some people do. Like the animal people on Counter Earth freaked me out.
Yeah, didn't care.
I think that's kind of the point. Yeah.
When I say I didn't care, I mean like it was done really well.
Yeah,
and like it gave me the heebie-jeebies, kind of.
Yeah. Didn't want to stay there long.
No, if I was there, I would find a tall building.
I will tell you, the hardest I laughed is when Drax threw the ball at that
girl. Yeah.
Pegged her. That was brilliant. Now we got a late addition to the stream here. I don't even know if I should add him. Does anyone want him here?
Too late.
I know.
I was hoping this David.
He's back. He's wiped away the tears.
Yeah, all right. Well, a good show, everybody.
Somehow Patrick Swayze has returned.
Patrick Swayze has returned. I loved it. It was great. Good movie. Hey, good job tonight, guys. I just wanted to come in and say thank you for playing, taking one for the team when I just couldn't make it. I mean, because that's basically what happened tonight. It was a last minute family thing.
You scheduled this, Michael. We all showed up.
Dude, I know.
Only one thing went wrong, and that's Garrison forgot to play the video.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was a video file to play.
Oh, under banners
to go live. Yeah,
Michael. The lesson here is to abandon your family.
No, you're right about that. No.
Whoa.
I sat through 2 hours of a concert.
Virtual hugs, man.
So, yeah.
Virtual.
Concerts are like junior high school concerts are the best.
Yeah.
There's really nothing better because my brother was in choir, so I sat through some of those as well.
I can tell you.
Was it band
concert?
A lot.
We don't need to get into that, but
choir concert.
Oh, okay.
I do love Mikey's name tag. That scene where he plays Patrick Swayze, trying to woo the girl rat catcher from the Suicide Squad was who that was.
Right.
I kind of liked the resolution of that scene because he did actually ultimately wind up.
Yeah. He wooed. He did trust him. Yeah.
It makes you remember the introduction where he's flying off that planet on the ship, and the girl's like, "Where am I? What's happening?"
Well, Quill was a much more confident character in this, where he was not just trying whatever, and he almost had a sort of a plan in each of these situations. Now he did just jump out of the ship, to take that guy with the thing in his head off, right? Like he just leapt right out without much of a plan there, and obviously Groot was there. But you can imagine that off screen that they've done that before. That's part that they know that drill already. But I thought he was much more confident in everything. He didn't need to be saved. He didn't stumble into the right answer too many times. It really seemed like he was competent, and that to me that's character growth. I mean, he had come a long way from the beginning of this whole thing, where he was kind of a bumbling doofus, overconfident. Where now he's just he's normally confident. I like the way he was.
I couldn't listen to everything, obviously, but did y'all talk about that hallway action scene? That had to have been one of the best.
We just touched on it.
Just touched on it. That was awesome. That had to have been one of the top 5 action scenes in the MCU. I mean, it was really, really well done. There was a couple weird shots in it, like where Peter Quill was like expressionless as he was fighting, which seems a little odd to me. But
he's focused, Mikey. He's focused. I liked it when he dived under the sword. I was like, dang, I didn't know Star-Lord had those reaction skills.
Yeah. So, overall, this was awesome. I'm thinking about seeing a movie this weekend, and I'm like, why don't I just go see this again? I mean, because really this weekend,
if you enjoy it, support the films you enjoy.
I know. I need to go support it. I need it to make a lot of money, because right now the detractors are pointing to the box office, and I'm not a fan of that.
I saw.
Yeah, I mean, the box office does not necessarily equate in any direct way to the quality of a movie, right? No. But it is a good measure for where things are, and when you're talking about a franchise like this long-term franchise, what it suggests is that people have lost faith in the franchise a little bit, and
the films before have hurt.
Correct. That's any box office deficiency here you can account. You can lay at the foot of Thor, Doctor Strange.
In fact,
the Disney Plus shows.
Look,
If you knew James Gunn, it's not anti-woke.
But it's neither woke nor anti-woke.
Yeah.
And what it feels like is now when you have a movie that's just a story that doesn't feel like you're having an agenda,
like Super Mario,
a message given to you. It feels anti-woke, but it's not. It's just not.
No,
it's just a movie.
You can put themes and allegories into your films, but if you sacrifice characterization and plot for the message, then it becomes a mess.
Great movies have great messages. I mean, look, the original Star Wars it had a lot of Vietnam, parallels to it. It was kind of coming out. It kind of came out of that mindset, and that's fine. You want to talk about, you want to show yourself as an anti-fascist set up against an empire. Great. I mean, that's
and the thing is
that works, but some of the things don't work.
Yeah, well, and 99% of the population will say they're anti-fascist.
Right? Yeah, it's not a bold. It's not particularly bold.
Yeah, everybody feels like they're against the evil whatever empire.
Right. Yeah.
The evil regime.
In that respect, I don't think this was an anti-woke. I mean, even Top Gun Maverick, which was people called it anti-woke, it just wasn't woke. It did not. Build up the female character pilot at the expense of any of the other ones. It didn't remark on her being a female hardly any. It just that's competent and capable, and
that's the interesting thing. Just to break into that film for a second, the woman who played the character, her script had that stuff in it. It had stuff with her doing those kinds of things, and she went and hung out with female pilots and went,
Monica Barbaro.
"Oh, they're just pilots.
They're just pilots." Yeah,
and
I don't need to do.
She's awesome. She's just one of my favorites now because she's awesome to look at.
Monica
Barbaro. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's fantastic.
She's
I like her a lot, actually.
Like I'm gonna watch the Paramount Plus movie that she was in.
Oh wow, you do like her.
Yeah.
that's much like. No, I'm just kidding. What movie is that? What is that?
Oh, I don't even know. It looks so bad. I think it's called Before Romance or something like that. It looks awful.
Okay.
Hey, there's a new Sydney Sweeney show coming out soon. There you go.
I also like her.
Not a show. That's not a show.
At midnight.
It's a movie.
HBO Films. HBO Films.
Really? Oh, okay.
At midnight.
Yeah, based on
Monica Barbaro.
Okay.
Reality winner.
Based on reality. The reality. Yeah, that's a movie. They did that a couple years ago with that Hugh Jackman film that got from like Telluride or Toronto.
The one
that
Dave really loved, right? Or you really loved one of the
I really loved it, and I think I'm gonna like this one also. So I don't know. Am I just like super delayed or something?
I think you're a little bit off. Just a tiny bit.
Weird.
Yeah, like about 40 minutes or so.
Because you react. You just react a little bit slower than normal. That's it.
Interesting.
Michael, come back to us.
Okay. I mean,
let's all join hands.
It's just not my night, I guess. I don't know.
He's not hosting it anymore, so now it's messing up for him.
Or it might be messing up because both of us are logged in under my account. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't see it. You don't seem wrong. Nothing seems wrong to me.
You seem fine now. I don't know if you caught up or sometimes StreamYard does like a fast forward. It's weird.
Did y'all? Okay, let's back to the movie for a second. I didn't really. Their outfits they had. The little. Did you like those or
they're pretty close to some of the comic outfits from the Abnett and Lanning stuff. I kind of
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that they all had their own unique style.
See,
and I didn't like. They didn't seem like a group. I don't know. They didn't seem
a little too
self-referential. Like they refer to themselves as Guardians of the Galaxy. They're running nowhere. They're kind of like out for hire. So maybe they considered it like a uniform, right?
I think you just saw the birth of the team, and I'll explain that in the sense of these characters finally coming into their own and becoming that team. They have the uniforms now. Rocket now assumes the identity of Rocket Raccoon, which he always assumed in the comics. But a lot of these characters are starting to assume those identities that they always have. I think you're going to see a similar thing with Adam Warlock, who was a part of the team during the Abnett and Lanning run, and he's wearing the costume now. Although I have a slight criticism about that mid-credit scene when we get to it. But yeah, I think it's almost like, in a weird way, it's almost like the birth of the actual team instead of just the name being on the films, if you know what I'm saying.
All right, that's fair.
I don't think you're going to get a whole lot more.
I'm not saying you're getting more films necessarily, but I'm saying it was almost like the beginnings of an actual team.
Maybe, but even Adam Warlock, like I don't think they didn't build that character as like a long-term role player, really. But it felt so tacked on. We talked a little bit about it earlier. It felt so tacked on. Like I don't think we're going to get much more.
No.
I don't think we're going to get a whole lot more Warlock in the MCU. I mean, maybe surprise me, but I don't feel like they're going down that road. Really, they're not going to incorporate him in very many places.
I don't know. I don't know when they do it, but I feel like Will Poulter's I don't know. I liked Will Poulter.
I thought he was fine in it.
Yeah,
and Will Poulter seems like a guy that can step up into those like actual like real world like roles of like the Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. ScarJo stuff.
Yeah,
and they need actors like that because they don't really have.
His line delivery on "Don't be rash." Kind of killed me in that film. Mikey dropping in and out, of course.
But he was fine. But I'm saying that they didn't build that character as a long-term contributor. Like making him kind of this childlike mindset, I don't think works. And
is he going to keep that?
I think he was almost a throwaway. That Gunn didn't care that he was there. He knew he did it out of obligation, and I don't think he's going to be incorporated very heavily in the MCU going forward. I don't get that feel that we're going to revisit a lot of these characters.
I think he'll be back, and I think you'll see a maturity from him.
All right, we've got the two people saying right here.
Let's put it to the test. We'll see.
Y'all put it in envelopes.
Years when
I don't know when they'll do it though. Yeah, that's the thing. They'll have to find.
It'll
be like they got a couple more phases to work out. And anyway,
well, the thing I do like is that they're starting to slow down, and I think that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing.
We now get to look. I think Kevin Feige stretched himself too thin. There were projects that turned out great, things like Spider-Man: No Way Home, which he probably paid more attention to. And then there were projects that were kind of teetering on the edge that could have probably been pushed forward, and then some that probably didn't even need to get made. But I digress. And I think he stretched himself so thin. I don't think he was able to pay attention to all these things. Now, there are still things he probably would have done that I would have disagreed with. But I think all the shows and all the movies kind of stretched him a little too thin.
You're better, Michael. You were a little blurry and pixelated earlier, but you seem
Michael.
I'm having this. The storm is really messing with my internet. I've never seen it do that.
Yeah, I could hear some thunder.
Yeah, there was a little bit ago. Pretty bad.
Michael, can you hear us? Come in, please.
You do sound like you're part of the
Can you hear me?
Union.
That's the real. Right now I do.
He doesn't sound like Techno Union to me.
You can't. It doesn't sound like it to me either. You sound good.
Oh, okay. Techno Union.
You're supposed to play along with it.
Is that him?
Watt Tambor. I am Watt Tambor.
The Techno Union. Our troops are ready.
Yes. So, what characters do we think are going to come back? I mean, not to have their necessarily own film, but who do we think is going to come back?
Well, they said the legendary Star-Lord will return, which I fully believe. Chris Pratt will probably be back in the Avengers films for sure. Probably as a heading up of some team,
leading up
leader.
The youth.
I think we see that entire Guardians team again.
I think we do in the Avengers films. I think Rocket's a major guy that's going to come back at some point.
For sure.
I mean, he's too much of a beloved character to not.
Bradley Cooper's about to be Batman. He's not coming back to the Marvel.
But it's just a voice.
Dave.
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean?
Hola.
I don't think we get any of them back.
You know what?
The name.
Hey, Garrison, you've got the power. Just boot him right out of here.
You can also change his name, Garrison. You also have the power to change names on StreamYard.
Did you just do that, Garrison?
Wait a minute. Okay. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do
What's
that.
What's going on?
No. He took himself out that time.
Garrison's drunk on power.
Anything.
I can't change his name.
Yeah, you can. No,
I can't.
If you click on his picture down below, not on the screen.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Garrison's student. He's not going to do that.
There we go. I think
that reminds me of this. There's a great outtake from Between Two Ferns, where Galifianakis is interviewing John Hamm. And he says, he's talking about the Mad Men outfit. He's like, yeah, the Mad Men, the clothes you wore, they're in the Smithsonian, right? He said, yeah, right next to the Cosby sweaters. great line.
Wow.
Hamm loses it. They can't take it.
So, Dave, we wanted to know what you thought of the movie. What do you think?
Which one? What are we talking
about? What's this movie called? Guardians Volume 3?
I think it's called Strays.
Yes. Strange World. Got it. Let me talk about Strange World.
Okay.
No, Guardians was great. I thought Guardians was fantastic. I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was a great, satisfying ending to the trilogy. If none of the characters ever come back, I'm okay with it. I think this is
That's fair.
Also, it saddens me a little bit because I feel like this is the last gasp of the Marvel that we really love. The phrases 1, 2, and 3, now that we're in phase 4, obviously things are scattered and whatever, but I feel like this is the last, like we just saw the end of 1, 2, and 3. Everything that we knew is now gone and over. And now we're fully into the new era of the MCU, for good or for bad. I thought it was well done. Are we spoiling? Is there spoilers tonight?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
I like the fact that
This is full spoilers.
I like the fact that we didn't kill off any main characters. I think the emotion that you feel watching a mutant rabbit and an otter and a walrus shows the power of storytelling, that even though it's a silly premise, and even if there are holes in the movies, which I'm sure Rhett can point out to you completely.
We've already done all that.
Even if that's the case, when the movie has good storytelling, you overlook those things, which is why there are so many, especially lately, MCU movies that are just that are not good because the storytelling is not good. So you're like looking for things to like, and you find all the holes and the gaping holes and everything. With Guardians 3, I didn't do that. I didn't nitpick it or whatever. I didn't pull it apart because I liked the movie, and it was one of the first times this year, really the first time this year, I walked out of the theater going, I want to see it again right now. I want to go back and see it again. Right, and I want to see it again. I would look forward to. I want to see that again. I wish this were the old days where the movies were coming on every night, like 10 and 11 o'clock, so I can go see a late movie and then slip in to see the end of Guardians 3, like I did with Avengers Endgame, seeing it 7 or 8 times that last hour, because I would just go to the end of my movie. So loved it. My favorite film of the year so far.
That's basically petty theft.
You know what?
Yes, the authorities are coming to your house. We appreciate
from us. This is my reparations. I'm not asking for $1.5 million from California. I'm just asking.
Your people are coming over the border right now, Dave,
right? Oh, that's true.
Who you calling you people?
I keep scanning for my dad in the videos that I keep seeing coming across.
Oh wow!
Where are we at? What are we doing here?
What was your favorite scene, Dave?
Dave,
what was your favorite scene?
About Dave, who do you think is going to return into the MCU in the future?
Well, I agree with Garrison. I think Star-Lord will come back. It said so, and I think he will. Chris Pratt has too many franchises going on. It's making way too much money to say, no, I'm good. I think Nebula will return. Karen Gillan has said she loves the character. She has said that she enjoys the character. She will do it. I think you can probably see Rocket and Groot come back as a duo. Even if it's just a small part here and there. Zoe Saldana says she's done. Batista, you might see Zoe Saldana again. They might convince her to come back for a little part. Batista's gone.
It's a lot of
body. He's done. He's too up in his. He's got the ego now. He's like, I'm a serious actor now, and I'm making M. Night Shyamalan.
I do M. Night Shyamalan films.
Exactly. So he's good. He's not coming back. I mean, you might see Mantis come back. I don't know, but I really think you'll see Star-Lord. I think you'll see Nebula. I think both of those will come back.
Now, here's something interesting. You talk about Rocket and Groot as a pair. I was watching an interview with Gunn where he pretty much said that he always knew he wanted to do the Rocket backstory, but he thought about doing it in a Rocket and Groot movie where they were together.
Well, that's right. We still don't know how they got together, do we? We don't know.
Yeah, and I guess it probably would have led more into that, too. Probably would have been him flying the ship and meeting Groot eventually.
Make it like a buddy cop film, call it like Turner and Groot. I think I'd go see that.
Or like Solo when he met Chewie.
Instead, he put it in Volume 3, which is where he felt it should have been.
I think that concept is good only on paper. I think you still need a human connection. I think you need human characters. I think this fully animated. That'd be like having a Jar Jar Binks and Dexter Jetster buddy movie.
I would watch that. I would absolutely watch that.
That's
maybe it's a bad example because now I want that to happen. But
Cloner.
But yeah, no, I don't think they. I don't think that would work.
It'd be like watching a Rose Tico and her sister buddy movie. That I would not watch.
Imagine how much bathroom humor would be in that Jar Jar Dexter one. Dexter scratching his butt all the time. Jar Jar stepping in poop.
You's a stinky farter.
Oh, yes, I am.
It's already painful.
Which hand are you touching me with? You got 6 hands.
That's a damn good one.
That's a cloning dog.
What about a Nala Se solo film? There you go.
I don't know who that is. I'm so far removed from Star Wars. I don't even know who that is.
Her sister. Is Mikey controlling the comments now?
Yeah,
yes.
he's a mod here. He can.
Oh wait, I see him. My bad. My bad.
No, Mikey's
he can
right.
add
I would
himself.
watch
He
her
took himself
sister.
out.
Oh,
No. I took myself out. My internet's busted tonight. It's not working well, so I took.
Wait, what?
If it's working right now, I'll stay in. But
it's working.
It's working.
Yeah,
You're
Don't let
working.
Trickster Earl
You
down.
look like a dubbed. You look almost like a dubbed Hong Kong film.
yeah, it is jacked up over here tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Fun fact for you guys. I'm going to force this fun fact on you.
Right.
Most Hong Kong films are dubbed, including in Cantonese, which is the home language of Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is so noisy. They didn't do sound sync. The first film to do sound sync in Hong Kong was Super Cop, Police Story 3 in 1990, whatever it is, 3, I think, something like that, with Jackie Chan and
seems
Michelle
like
Yeoh.
a date that you should have memorized.
You know what's a good movie? The Tuxedo.
Don't you have like 18 of those movies?
Yeah. It's whatever. Well, the problem is there's a American date and there's a Hong Kong date, and those always kind of get mixed up in my head. So
that makes sense. That's fair point.
That's like when I go to Hong Kong, I have an American date and a Hong Kong date. So
and Jackie,
Zing.
Jackie would film like 5 films a year.
I got like 7 comments to follow that up, but I just
yeah, we probably should let that go.
Jackie would film like 5 films a year, and he had a dubber because of that. So he wouldn't even do the voiceovers.
Interesting.
So it's not his voice. Until Super Cop.
Back to Guardians 3 a little bit.
Yeah,
I did not think Zoe Saldana's acting performance was all that great. I thought it was a little off from time to time. Yeah.
Well, she had such a stoic sort of hard. She didn't have a lot to do.
I think her characterization was off a little. Yeah. We're talking about 2014 Gamora, right? Who has not had the same experiences as the Gamora we love. But that Gamora she was not a Ravager. And I thought that was a weird connection.
But here's the thing. This is 2014 Gamora that hasn't had the revelation to fully turn yet, though. She was kind of forced.
I'm not saying she shouldn't be good. I'm saying that she was not. She started working against Thanos when she understood that he was going after the stones.
Yeah.
So 2014 Gamora, he was going after the stones.
Or that she was an assassin.
And she did kind of come around in Endgame, right? I mean, she was part of the girls.
Yeah, but she's not going to be fully
MCU.
Not fully. I get it, but I'd say that she was not a Ravager, though. She was never in the mindset that would kind of be her home.
Yeah, I agree with Brian.
That wasn't her deal at all. And why they, she considered them to be family and went, gravitated right to them.
And then they were all hugging at the end. That didn't
seem
very Ravagery.
Yeah, she didn't.
Well, that was just to show that she has a family.
Back to the Ravagers. She was never a Ravager.
Also, though, there was a distance of time from when she walked out in Endgame to wherever we are now.
Yeah.
So there's a story to be told in the
next
2 years. How
that
she ended up with the Ravagers.
That was 2023, and
now it's 25.
Is it? I mean, I don't. I mean, that's a. I guess maybe it is.
No,
is it everywhere? I don't know.
It's 2025.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that her characterization was not that of either Gamora that we had seen.
No, I think
that's the 2014 or the one that died. So that took me out of it a little bit. I thought that's not her fault. That's not Saldana's fault. That is the writing. Just didn't place her correctly. But but yeah, I don't think she had a whole lot to do. I like that she did not just come right back to Quill. That they kind of accepted that this ain't the same. So
I like they didn't end up together. I do like that fact.
I like.
I don't know how they would have, but I like.
I liked their
kind of
back-to-back scene at the end too. You know, I'm sure we had some fun together.
That we were fun was a great line.
Yeah,
there is sort of this idea that maybe that in the future they could build a relationship, sort of, you know, even though they kind of walked separated.
But yeah,
I was kind of shipping
Nebula
Peter and Nebula. Yeah.
That
kind of works for me.
Rocket may have to make some accessory parts.
My father.
Wait, Earl, hang on. What parts are you talking about, Earl?
You know what all the important parts.
No, I was just thinking too. I was like, I wonder how all that is.
Rocket's like, I'm modified it for you there, Quill.
No, I was also shipping Nebula and Peter. Yeah.
It kind of works.
No, see, I was not.
Kind of works.
Look, he grabbed her muscles at the beginning of the film. I mean,
when that happened, I was like, okay, this could be a really big turning point, because all you really knew of their relationship was what we saw in the trailer, the scene with you two would be a better couple. I was like, oh, is that actually something that we're getting when he like?
I'm just saying he picked out a really nice pair.
Knock it off.
Karen Gillan on the press tour said that she thinks Nebula has a crush on Peter.
I probably so. I think he's the only eligible. Well, it's the same thing she said about Gamora. Like it was a squirrel or a tree or whatever whatever her quote was, or rabbit or racket, whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, that's naturally they're the nearest anatomically to one another out of the whole group.
To go back, what did our crew?
It was there to establish that he was a really bad guy. And it worked. Everybody hates this guy because he killed a dog or something. And that's how you define evil in movies.
Is this based on the comics? Does anybody know, Garrison, about Rocket's
I don't think that is for the High Evolutionary, but
I wasn't affected by the animal experimentation. I know people are like, it's got some really serious animal trauma. I mean,
I'm dead inside.
Very fake animals, and I knew that, and like I didn't buy into the whole like I'm watching a raccoon being tortured. I'm watching a CGI character being tortured.
Right? Yeah, I had no emotional connection really to any of the animals because I understood that that's not. First of all,
when they died, it was
remember,
not because animals being shot.
Yeah, remember, animals don't talk, right? They don't talk, and they
also don't have souls.
But I heard them.
They don't have souls either. They
It's
are
true.
soulless.
But maybe the floor, because I'm on the floor.
Yeah. So I'm dead inside, so I had no real connection to any of that, but I understood what was going on. And from a character standpoint, I cared about the characters.
Yeah,
I did not care that they were animals. Did not care.
Yeah, and I mean,
I cared that he lost his friends, not that they were animals.
I cared about the anthropomorphized characters of Floor, Teefs.
That's a college graduate right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a big old word he just pulled out.
Anthropomorphized. Wow, I love it.
Well, it was just they made the animals more human.
I know, we know what it means.
Okay. Have to dumb it down, apparently.
Well, the deinstitutionalization of these animals as they were. I'm just kidding.
And so it's disestablishmentarianism.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. Can you spell it though?
We could go into a whole conversation about how stupid the humane treatment of animals. That's a nonsensical statement because humane means treating them like humans, and they're not humans. But instead, let's talk about Groot and us hearing Vin Diesel say, "I love you guys."
At first, when I heard that, I was like, what? Huh? Why? But then when Gunn explained that on Twitter that was us hearing Groot talk for the first time, when I went back to see it after I heard that, I went, okay, I like it, although I wish it was set up a little bit better. I wish that they had said something like, "We love you too," or something back to him, whatever. Speak back like they do with Groot normally,
There was one I Am Groot that seemed totally untouched in post. That
it was very Vin Diesel.
Straight Vin Diesel. I thought it was nice to let him through once,
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that. I walked away and thought that was probably a pretty good gimmick there with Groot.
Yeah.
we're finally at this point to where we
I loved how they leaned into the whole, like, he's saying I am Groot, but he's actually saying like sentences that are
and like when Gamora first knows what he's saying was great too. That was a really good scene where she like turns around, she's like, "Oh, crap, I just understood you."
Yeah,
so unrelated.
Great, it's great for us that we spent enough time with the character now that we understand it too. So I
know you guys already talked about the hallway scene, which was fantastic. Choreography there, but also completely unrelated to Groot talking. The back-to-back scene with Star-Lord and Groot on the ship where he pulls out the 4 guns. That was a pretty fantastic scene.
That's a great.
It might have been more than 4 guns.
You got that like overshadowed by the hallway scene, but still, that was a fantastic fight scene.
I think he pulled out 8 guns and he used 6 of them.
Yeah,
and that calls back to what I said earlier, where Quill was very confident and he did have plans. Like he was not just flying by the seat of his pants.
Trap.
Like he knew right from the beginning that's how that was going to end up, and he was prepared for it.
And he planned a bunch of stuff with Groot off screen, which I kind of liked. We were
right. Yeah,
you know what to do with these.
They know each other. Yeah. I thought that was a great. That's character development.
What sound are we getting here? What's that?
I
sound?
hear the buzzing as well.
I don't know what that is.
Whose mic's too hot?
Okay. I'm on a headpiece.
David, I think
that's David, but
I don't hear a thing.
The only thing I don't think that they did well with Groot was that he should have had more of an emotional. I didn't get the fact that because Rocket's kind of been his father, his friend, and all. There's always been sort of this connection with those two.
Yeah,
it didn't seem as strong of a connection in this movie. Like he was kind of like.
He seemed disconnected from the whole Rocket is dying part.
Yeah, like he should have been. I know he's still a teenager, but teenagers are.
He was the bedside though several times. There were a lot of times.
Listen, you can't put too much on Vin Diesel to emote.
Right.
Like there's nothing you can do.
He's saving it for the Fast films, guys.
Yeah,
we got Fast X coming right now.
You also can't have a scene with passed out like in a coma Rocket and Groot talking to Rocket because it'll just be I am Groot. I am Groot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
Dave, what were you saying?
I did expect though to see Groot reach over and grab a bottle by the neck of the bottle just to turn it up like this and drink like Fast and Furious. Grabbing his Corona.
He's just living his life a quarter mile at a time.
What that means. I don't know.
This is a film I think that you could look at it from an interesting faith perspective, Earl and others. I mean, we have discussions of there is no God, and then everyone turns on the guy
that
who says
was
that.
A great scene.
Look what he do.
That's why I had to step in.
I kind of was surprised by that.
There is no God. Yeah.
And then we sort of see a heaven. One that a bunch of animals are in, but there's a heaven. Yeah.
Gunn has a Catholic background. Did you know that?
It was like King's Cross,
basically. It might be the same heaven that Spike Witwicky went to in Revenge of the Fallen. So, I don't know if it's this. I don't know if that is heaven or not.
It's animal heaven. So
it's the heaven they went to, and this is the end of the Backstreet Boys. And
then there's what about the afterlife in the freaking MCU? There is a Valhalla that all you have that I mean, let's don't.
You just have to die in battle.
Let's don't overthink
that. No, don't.
Yeah, well, she didn't die in battle. She died.
I was thinking about this standalone film from a faith perspective, but yes, at the MCU, you start to go,
You start to get to the whole like everybody's just touching a different part of the elephant.
Yeah,
metaphor.
Check out that trunk space.
How about that?
Did you know? And I studied this one time, and I haven't experienced, but I want to. The 4-foot of the elephant is delicious.
The what?
The 4-foot, the front foot, of the elephant is delicious. A little
not the 4-foot part, just
I'm putting on my Craven the Hunter. If we're talking about hunting animal,
by all accounts, delicious meat.
Hey, I would eat animal or eat elephant.
Yeah, I absolutely would. I'd eat a manatee right now.
There's not much I wouldn't eat. Dog.
Well, if it's cooked and served for me, probably I would eat it.
What is going on?
I don't think I could eat dog. I couldn't eat human.
Is that a cat butt and Rhett's shoulder?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I would eat I wouldn't eat a human.
No,
but I'd probably eat a ball.
Good for you.
I'd eat a horse.
Yeah, I think people eat horse. People eat.
We'll eat anything if we're desperate enough, right?
And
I don't even have to be desperate, Dr. Earl. Somebody cooks it up for me, I'll eat it.
I would eat a cat. I would absolutely eat a cat.
I've been to Chinese buffets around here. Of course, I'd eat a cat.
Yeah,
I hate cats.
Yeah, I've eaten camel, kangaroo,
rattlesnake. I've had that. I've had possum.
Rattlesnake.
I've had gator.
A lot of gator.
Guys, I thought we were loving animals tonight.
Goat is good. Goat is the most eaten meat in the world.
Yeah, goat's got too many.
Goat's the goat.
I
So
don't
we're
like goats.
transitioning from Guardians 3 to the movie Alive. Is that correct?
I would eat any one of you.
Actually, my
which one
faith
would-
thing was going to go into Tree of Life, but if you want to go into Latin, so that's fine.
Yeah, where were you thinking, Garrison? Because I didn't really pick up as many faith themes.
Oh, it
except
really
for
wasn't that much. It was that one
Yeah.
scene with the
heaven.
There is no God. And that's why I stepped in.
Well, but
And
that's
that
the
was
high
not
evolutionary.
heaven. That was a
Right.
vision. That was a dying vision that he had. That he was not really with those dead.
Red, I
animals.
believe. Red, I believe he was with them.
Okay, all right.
I believe.
I believe
not just all dogs go to heaven, Red. All animals go to heaven.
all tortured animals.
Well, yeah, tortured.
All martyred animals go to heaven.
Yes.
Was that a walrus or a manatee?
I think it was a walrus.
Tufts or whatever his name. What was his name?
Teefs.
He was a walrus. Yeah.
I've got teeth.
Walrus, otter, and a
Guys,
bunny.
I was thinking. Oh, what were you thinking about? Nothing. I was just thought I'd tell you I was thinking.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a great moment. That was a really good moment. Sometimes you need friends just to say that too. Oh, guys, I'm starting to get misty thinking about all this.
I know. Well,
But listen.
up,
Go ahead.
There is
Go ahead.
absolutely.
No, go on.
I'm done.
No, you're good.
No, I'm done.
There's absolutely what? What was she
gonna
saying?
say as we wrap up. I was gonna say as we wrap up this show. I thought I would just cue that music. I really had nothing else to say. Mikey kind of needs to be a part of this a little bit. I mean, yeah. All right, there we go. There you go. I thought
This song made me cry. I cried
Best
so much.
soundtrack of the three movies. This is the best soundtrack of the three.
I disagree.
I had a
don't
lot of
think it's
fun.
the best soundtrack of the three. I think it was a little indulgent. Most of the time it worked, but I don't. It was like James Gunn being like, "Hey, look at all these cool songs I know," instead of really being integrated into the movie.
Mm-hmm. I'm shocked that they haven't released another Zoom just for this.
Who is the singer for that song?
Florence and the
with all those
Machines, I
songs
think.
preloaded on.
Volume 2 is the best, according to Matt and me. There you go.
Yeah, I think I like.
Because the conceit.
And
They
he
bunch
does
Glenn
have a
Campbell.
music podcast, so he would.
That's
know.
true.
Look, I felt like the conceit was that it was music that Peter Quill knew, right?
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but then at the end of 2, he's given a Zune by Yondu, and he's like, the Ravagers got
all-
this, and it's got all
got
this
some
music.
unique-
from the
300
Earth
songs
onto
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like the payoff for Drax saying "Dancing's for Idiots" at the beginning, and then giving in to the music at the end.
I also like the fact that we actually got to see Drax destroy, because I felt like
Yeah,
every
well,
time he fought somebody important or somebody with a name, he lost, and so it was nice to see him really go in and just take over and take off and whatever. That was nice. So,
Yeah, he needed a win.
yeah.
Yeah, Drax. He got to be the dad and the destroyer in this film. And that was,
You got
really
a
nice
new
character.
family.
I haven't heard one person mention Cosmo yet.
Oh,
we talked about
we
Cosmo.
talked about it
I
at the
love
beginning.
Cosmo.
We talked about how
What?
that joke was a little bit
Oh, okay.
overplayed.
Rhett was
But
not in love
that
with
was
the
it.
joke, and I agree there were moments that were a little overdone for it. I do love the character though, and I thought Maria Bakalova.
I like the
was
Russian
okay.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, she fit the Russian dog, and I did like the Howard the Duck scene where they're playing poker.
Yeah, that
I
was
missed
great.
the Howard the Duck scene the first time because I was going to the bathroom.
What are you doing,
well,
man?
I like that
know.
scene because she's
And
like, even the Soviets wouldn't have called me a bad dog.
When I came back, I asked the guy I was sitting next to. I knew him. I didn't just ask a random guy. The guy I went with, and I was like, "What did I miss?" He's like, "Oh, they were just playing poker and another bad dog joke." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then the freaking nowhere shows up, and I'm like, what in the world? And then the second time I saw it, Howard the Duck showed up. I'm like, this guy didn't tell me anything that I missed.
he didn't know. He didn't know.
He's from England. I'm going to send him back across the pond. Deport his ass.
Hey, so why does Cosmo have powers?
Because she has powers in the comics, which I think is a he in the comics. But
well, yeah, I thought so too. But I get that. But I just from an origin standpoint, yeah, the Russians, the Soviets sent some dogs into space.
Yeah,
and they disappeared. That she got picked up or whatever.
I have not read that side of Marvel.
How did she get telekinesis, and why is she so long lived? That dog should be dead 50 years ago.
Because she's kept her cellular molecular structure in space.
Long lived.
What Dr. Earl said.
I have had that debate whether it is long lived or long lived. There was a Jeopardy category just a while back, long lived animals, and it bothered me. The host said long lived. All the contestants said long lived.
The etymology of the word is that it's originally it's based on I can't remember. Is it
I've never
life
heard this
or whatever. Before. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's based on life instead of live.
Okay. That makes sense.
And so that's why it's supposed to be pronounced that way, getting into a little etymology stuff. But
I don't care for it.
Because people mispronounce it, it's become accepted pronunciation the other way.
Good, because that's how you pronounce it.
I don't like that either.
No.
Like, I still want it to be right, because I don't like that now literally means figuratively. I don't like that.
Matt, he
doesn't mean literally anymore. I don't want to accept
He texted me and said he hasn't seen it yet, and he's sorry he missed it tonight, and he'll do better next time. Yeah. No, he didn't say that last part.
Oh. He's a little too big to say that. Yeah. Well, when is our next roundtable?
I mean, that's all we're going to be doing for a while until Secret Invasion.
Transformers.
I mean, we're going to do Transformers.
Well, Fast X is next, right?
Oh, Fast X is the next round. Dave has to be there. Dave, you have to figure out a way to be here.
I'll be out on that one.
I mean, 9:30 is as close as I can get to it. I got to put the kid to bed. I get no way to.
There's reports.
I take that
Ryfin's going to go see it. Roth, are you seeing it?
Summertime.
Oh, baby, I live my life.
Y'all can talk about it.
I can put him to bed without the bath time, so that actually might help. So yeah.
Do I need to have seen Fast 1 through 9 to really get in?
No, you don't. You won't know. None of those. That's why all those movies are so. That's why all those movies are so brilliant, because you don't have to watch any of the other ones.
Brilliant.
They're brilliant. Oh, they're brilliant.
I'll
let you guys cover that one.
Oh, next Tuesday is 5 through 9, episode 5 through 9, Visions. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Sorry, Rhett.
Yes.
Michael, you should be proud of me. I was very measured in any of my criticisms tonight. I didn't hate anything about it.
I was listening as best I could. There was a bunch of kids on a stage singing, so I was having to hold the phone up to my ear.
You didn't bring earbuds?
I didn't have I forgot my headphones, so I was like, oh, and I got a new phone that requires earbuds, so I was all messed up. I was all messed up. Yeah. It was a rough night.
Watch it back. Watch the whole thing.
I'm sorry, Dave just keeps changing his name to libel me over here.
This is
what? Just quoting.
Yeah, well, I quoted you back, so don't worry.
That was justified.
It's a hit. I mean, have you heard "Umbrella" by Rihanna? That's not a hit song. Let's be real.
All right, Garrison. I think it's time for you to end the show.
All right, how do I end it? Tell me what to hit.
Okay, I'll do it. Hey, thanks everybody for coming in the chat. Oh, let's think who was in the chat tonight. Some guy named Michael was in the chat.
Yeah,
Matt,
he was a new guy,
Brian. Thanks for everybody coming to hang out.
Craig was there.
Oh,
Ted.
Craig and Nate. I missed Ted. Yeah. Oh man, we had a lot of people in the chat tonight. That's
Nate
awesome.
was slandering you. I guess libeling
Our
you.
trader Illumin Nerdy. What just happened? Ryfin just found all the buttons.
Our trader Illumin Nerdy.
All right.
Good day for a movie podcast.
We'll go around the horn here. Ryfin.
We're unmuted. We can unmute ourselves now. We have the power.
No, we're still live. We're still broadcasting.
It mutes
Still live.
video.
We're still going.
Okay, Ryfin, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at GRyfin3, GRYFUN3. You can find me on Instagram as well. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfin. We can watch some movies soon.
I
Quick on the
have
trigger.
Never given you the
Garrison
control
is
of this.
not a good pilot.
I'm a good pilot when
not
I
the captain
understand
now.
the controls.
You're a good pilot in the conversation. The controls.
Yes,
Right?
the controls are hot and fresh out of the kitchen. What just happened? Rhett, what website can people find you on? Are we doing that still? Nowhere. Instagram, Magic on a Dollar, the Main Street Electrical Podcast every Thursday. Is that right?
Every Thursday. Yep.
Wait, it is Thursday.
Right. It is.
New
It
episode
released
today.
a great episode released earlier today about. Dang it! I
All the
listened.
news.
What was it about?
It was basically all the stuff that came out this week. Dining plan, all the
Yeah. All the news that came out this week about it, all the stuff, the
week,
food and all that.
30-year anniversary show next week.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome!
Very nice.
Wow.
Congrats.
Very nice.
Yep.
Roth, what about you? Where can people find you?
Roth from Wyoming, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd. Good day for a movie podcast. Our last episode was on Tag. Our next one is on 4 Rooms.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's it.
Awesome. Well done. Dr. Earl, not on the internet, except sometimes
Why do y'all not ever give me a chance to say where I am? Y'all just always assume y'all go ahead and I'm on the Discord.
You are on the Discord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on the Discord.
And you accept telegrams, right?
Yeah, I accept telegrams. I accept smoke
The
signals.
website. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
not
look
the
like
website.
Pocahontas
No,
over there.
like Western
Like
Union.
the blanket over you. You look like a
he's a-
squaw.
No. I'm this is Craven the Hunter. I'm trying to.
Oh.
It's
Hey, we're going to be doing a roundtable on that whenever it comes out. So no, that's like November, right?
It's hunting time, he says.
I can't remember when it comes out.
I want you to know that my quote is real and Dave's quote is fake. Okay.
Gosh.
Well, wait a minute.
All right.
Wow.
Good night.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody. We're still live.